Hi, this is a video that I'm preparing for this post on the Warp Investor blog. The yield curve uninversion is here. And it refers to the uninversion of the 10-year, 3-month Treasury yield curve. So as you can see, the uninversion is here. So typically when the yield curve inverts, and that inverted here in October 22, a couple of years pass and then we have a recession, but always there is an uninversion before that recession happens. And you can see that in previous recessions, these are the shaded areas in the graph. So always you see an uninversion happening before the recession happens. So the uninversion is here. We have not had a recession yet. So this is actually the best signal, the best indicator of upcoming recessions that we have, the yield curve uninversion, particularly the 10-year minus 3-month yield uninversion. In this, what is interesting is that this is happening at a time when many things in the economy look good. Now, in a previous post titled, "How Many Times Until a Coincidence Becomes a Pattern? The Case of Yield Curve Inversions Preceding Recessions in the Magical Number 7, I discussed an article that I've co-written, co-authored with Professor of Finance Augustin Tarcom, and the link to that article is here. But essentially we show that for anything like the yield curve inversion and recessions phenomenon, for anything like that to become a statistically significant pattern and not only a coincidence, it has to happen 7 times or more. That's the magical number 7, which refers to another phenomenon, but it also seems to apply to this type of situation. So even though here in this graph we don't see it happening 7 times, if you go back far enough with data that we have about these inversions, we can see that this has happened 8 times already. So this seems to be a pattern, and it's a very strong pattern. And it's the bond market telling us that the recession is coming. And the bond market tends to be a market where the players have access to large amounts of funds to invest. And with access to a lot of money, you tend to also have access to more information than other people have, including information that is held by sovereign funds, heads of state, and other players in the market that arguably is information that is valuable to predict upcoming recessions. Now, a couple of things that are happening now that would go against the idea that we're going to have a recession is, one, is money supply. So money supply had a contraction in 2022 and 2023, as you can see, a contraction in money supply, but now it is expanding again. This expansion is not due to QE by the central bank. This expansion is actually lending being done by commercial banks. So this would be expected to bode well for the economy. So this expansion in liquidity available in the market. Another thing that suggests that is positive from a liquidity perspective is that debt in the United States has been going up, federal debt. This means that the Treasury has been issuing bonds, and debt is being purchased, right? So we don't have infinite interest rates. This means that buyers are purchasing this federal debt by the United States, and that allows the United States to use those funds to fund its operations, and that also increases liquidity in the U.S. This money may be coming from foreign investors as well as from domestic investors, but regardless, it's actually going into the economy because the United States government is spending. So even with all of this, it does seem that we are in a situation here where a recession may happen. So it's hard to tell what can happen, but we did have a hint here at during COVID. So this most recent recession is the COVID recession. And here we saw for the first time what happens when people stop spending in certain industries. The economy collapses very quickly. So the economy is fragile, and a recession can happen for a variety of reasons. Right now we have real geopolitical tensions rising. So there are things that are happening that could precipitate a recession. President Trump's term has just started, so a lot of changes are happening. So some of the things that are happening now could precipitate a recession. But from a money supply perspective, and as indicated by debt issuance and lending, it doesn't seem like this is the time we would expect a recession to happen. Well, thank you for watching.